and I do feel sorry for my friends that go to Hillsong as such, because as much as I might look and say, this is Hillsong, but I can see that in every church.
Exactly. And as our grandparents and stuff get older and pass away, it's like we need them to start speaking their truth and telling us the stories and stuff like that so we can pass it on to the next generation. And I think it's just so important not to just modernize Black history and say, oh yeah, you know what, like the first Black woman that did this in 2012. Okay, cool. That's still very modernized. Let's take it way back to centuries where there's so many things that Black people have achieved that we just have not been told about, and nobody wants to allow us to or give us that knowledge. Like, we need to start speaking up, doing the research ourselves, asking people. And I think I encourage everybody, and this is my main thing for everybody today, is find something new about Black history that you never knew about before and share it with a friend.
Share. Affinity Xtra. Be extra.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are personal and do not necessarily represent the views of Affinity Xtra.
Yo. I'm here alongside the lovely Jade today and AXNow, keeping it current with what we see on YouTube. Primarily YouTube, but there's some other stuff out there still anyway. So I'm with the lovely Jade. How are you, my sister?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Okay, guys, we I think this is gonna be, are you ready to rumble? No, it's not like that still anyway. So yes, don't worry, guys. We do stress our opinions, whether we agree or disagree on this, and we're gonna, some videos that I've seen around the place, or I kind of tried to shock Jade because just awaken her to social media. She's laughing, because she's just using our MySpace too often.
See, I don't even have MySpace. I live underneath a rock. Let's be honest.
Listen, she's got high five, still trying to function out of that, man. She's talking to people in Alaska.
Bebo.
You know what I'm saying? Bebo. Oh my goodness. No,
Bebo.
There's a Bebo, man. Still that logo just hit me then. That red logo.
Oh, dear.
I tried my password for MySpace the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, and it
did it work? I tried that as well.
Yeah.
Wouldn't allow me to log in.
But I still got my thing in the surface.
Have you?
Yeah.
Sick.
It's a gospel link, guys. Check it out. MySpace.com /gospel link.
Do you know what? I feel like I used to be an A&R person on MySpace before A&R became a thing. Because I used to find all of these groundbreaking artists, have them on my MySpace profile.
Yeah.
And a few weeks later, it'd blow, and I'd be like, I found them first.
Yeah, man. And you had a little play on your,
Yeah.
MySpace, guys. MySpace in heaven. There's a t-shirt range like that.
Really?
Yeah, MySpace in heaven.
Nice, like that.
That is total. But listen, guys, we're gonna kick off with the first video. This may personally hit Jade. She might probably pretend like she don't know about why this should personally hit there. But this is a YouTube video that I got bumped into the other day. Hopefully you're gonna enjoy. You're not gonna enjoy this one. But anyway, so you're gonna listen to it and we'll respond to it.
Have you ever heard of Hillsong Church?
Hillsong is the celebrity church, right?
Bieber, Bono, Vanessa Hudgens, Kevin Durant.
It wasn't just this Australian startup anymore. It was Justin Bieber's church. They've had over 3 billion views on YouTube.
Hillsong changed the way that many of us saw how church could be done.
They're huge now. They're huge.
You can make a real change if you come to Hillsong.
This was going to be a place where I could call my home. But that clearly wasn't the case, and it almost took my life.
You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time.
When we talk about Carl and purity, how could you shame me when I was so young, but you did this?
It was the most toxic thing I ever had to deal with.
Hey girl. Hi. Sooner or later, God will cut you down.
The beliefs that they put in you go deep. They really get in your head.
This is cool church.
There is a fine line between cult and culture.
They want to spread their tentacles as far as they can.
They really do believe that they need to conquer Earth in order to make heaven on Earth, to essentially bring on the end times.
This is not a moral failure. It's a felonious criminal act.
$78 million in revenue, tax-free.
Manipulation, religious trauma,
systemic cover-up.
Tremendous power.
everything in your life is Hillsong.
this is not what I thought it was.
Okay, now, have you seen that before?
I haven't. Obviously, I've heard about the scandals.
Okay, cool.
But I haven't seen this trailer. I didn't even know that this was dropping.
So, have you had any experience of Hillsong?
Probably back in the day.
Okay.
Like way back in the day. Do you get what I mean?
So you've never been to their church?
Never been to their church.
Yeah.
However, I've listened to their, because they used to do like worship albums
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So back in the day when Hillsong worship used to be the thing, do you get what I mean? Like around Israel New Breed times. That's when Hillsong worship.
Yeah.
That's.
So obviously, as a churchgoer, a Christian, how are you feeling about the mega? It's called Hillsong, a mega church exposed. This is a Discovery Channel. I think it's Discovery Plus, isn't it? Discovery, something like that. So I think that's Disney Channel, isn't it? I'm sure it's Discovery Plus.
I think so.
Discovery Plus Originals. They've gone in and created a series on Hillsong. Is it called Us from Other Churches? They're exposed now. The truth has come out. The teeth, half of our membership. You know what I mean? Because they have. I'm not saying they have teeth that are half of our membership, but you tend to find a lot of ex-so-and-sos there. But anyway, are you uncomfortable about this, or are you like, we have a popcorn? Let me just see what's going on here.
I wouldn't say uncomfortable. I would say this is deep.
Oh.
Because I do tend to find that this is a running issue with a lot of mega churches.
Go on.
And maybe it's because of the fact that these mega churches, it's a crazy thing. One thing my pastor always taught me, he said, like, in life, he believes, like, it's not scripture, but I can generally see it, that sometimes we get tested on three things, or one of three things, or all three things, and he calls it the 3 Gs. So, girls, gold or glory, or guys, gold and glory. And for me, I can see that because you can see that sometimes people are, greedy with their wealth, or, idolize, or adultery, or they want the glory, they want the fame. And you can see that in churches quite a bit. I feel like this happens in smaller churches, but because it's a mega church,
it's just bigger. It's
a bigger scale. Do you get what I mean? These things happen regularly in the church. Let's be honest, Raj. It's not just a Hillsong situation.
What?
This is a church situation, and it's been going on for a long time. But Hillsong, unfortunately, because they have celebrities and all these people, and they're so huge, it's going to be more publicized and it's going to be bigger. But in all honesty, we need to start talking about this within our community. That's happening. There's so many things that gets kind of swept underneath the carpet in churches.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. If we say we're Christians, and it's not about outing, it's about correcting in love. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And saying, okay, cool. How did we fall short? We can't afford for this to happen again. Like, what protocols do we need to put in place? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, that's what it needs to be.
And the thing is, that there's always been vultures in sheep and wolf clothing. That's how we describe it in the church. And and especially from the churches I grew up in, we cannot point the finger when it comes to men abusing power in the church. And I humbly say that from a UK Christian black perspective. We've seen ministers get moved from city to city. Why? Oh, because you just want something new with the family. No, because he messed up in the church that he's left. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's nothing that's happened in the last 10, 20 years. We talk about this is an age-old problem that's been happening for decades, but the church is covered up. We look at the Catholic Church as an issue. Yeah. Now we see Hillsong being an issue. And like you said, it turns over $78 million a year. That's a lot of money, tax-free. I'm like, I want a piece of that. And it's funny because when the woman comes out about Carl's Lands, when that all came out, you're like, really? It's just like you said, it's the glory, it's the gold, you know what I mean? It's the girl, you know what I mean? You can see it all coming out, and it's like, oh, if she jumped, she's like, well, he came for me, and you're like, well, hold on a second. And this is the thing is, and I'll encourage before you do the little dirty thing, and you kind of, gotta be careful though, because the girl might just. You gotta figure the ramifications. You know what I mean? You know, before you go and get involved, start eating the chocolate, you realize that you might get spots on your face, ramifications, man, or your belly might spot out. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's ramifications too. Don't go, oh, I didn't realize. You know, chocolate's not good for your system. Speak to himself. But you know what I'm saying? But the thing is, we still yam it. You know what I'm saying? And the guys, no matter how sweet that chocolate is, brethren, walk away. You know what I mean? And like I said, I don't know. I just think we've abused our position, especially men.
Do you know what as well? I think when people get into positions of power,
gets to their head.
It gets to their head, and I think that's when you have to renew your mind daily. Not because just because you've been put into this position doesn't mean, okay, cool, I can now do what I want or say what I want or act in a certain type of way because I have this power.
Come on now.
And it's a bit like, and that's why the Bible says renew your mind daily, because when you're in certain positions, you have to always make sure that you kind of say to yourself, do you know what? This isn't about me. This is actually about God and the glory of God. Like, this could all get stripped away from me tomorrow, and what am I left with? Nothing but the word of God. And so I think what's happened with, you know, Carl is the fact that he's got himself to a place where he's with Justin Bieber, and Kardashians used to go to Hillsong as well. So like Courtney and all that, they would go to Hillsong with Justin and stuff like that. And he's got himself to a position where he's like, I am a celebrity now. And that's what the problem is. It's like, no. You should still be a worshiper of God. This whole celebrity status thing. When you get to heaven, God's going to be like, celebrity who?
Yeah, you know, and I do feel sorry for my friends that go to Hillsong as such, because as much as I might look and say, this is Hillsong, but I can see that in every church.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the joke.
Yeah.
And we're not saying the Bible's wrong, and we're not talking from a non-Christian perspective. We love God, you know, we're on the Christian thing, but we see this manipulation of power.
Yeah.
It's like he just gets to man's head.
Yeah.
It's, you know, women do have it, by the way. Because a lot of times, men are doing it with the knowledge of their missus. And the missus almost like empowers them to carry on with their foolishness. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not saying all the time, guys, you know, before I get told off for that. But, you know, I've seen times where the women pretend like they don't know nothing, but they've actually empowered it. You know what I'm saying?
But empowered in what sense would you mean?
If there's certain things that you could do to lock it off. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's like, okay, I'm not prepared to do that, so you can do that with her. But this is for me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know, how the hell you know that, Roger? You know what I'm saying? No, don't even go there. But you know, but I'm a big man, you know, so we have enough conversation. But ultimately, I feel like, you know, so not every party's in it. Sometimes, a lot of times, women go, "Oh, it's nothing to do with me," you know. But the reality show is like, okay, then right, your husband's phone. Do you know the password for it? Oh no, it doesn't let me. Like, really? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not saying you check on your husband's phone, but if you can't get in your husband's phone and you don't know the password, you know, what's he got to hide?
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? If he's hiding something, it'd be trouble. But that's just me anyway. So so guys, man. Before we get too much into the Hillsong thing, but that's how I feel anyway. So but you know, God's willing, you know, the exposure won't be too bad still. You know what I mean? But this is how we do it, man. All right, then I'm gonna line up the next video.
Black men are beautiful.
Black men are magnificent.
Black men are innovators.
Black men are brilliant.
Compassionate. Intelligent.
Complex.
Resilient.
Critical.
Necessary.
Worried.
Sorry guys, just want to pause that there. I feel funny because I've heard a positive more than 2 words in a row about black men. I'm just feeling dizzy, sis. It's just weird feeling, guys.
Everything.
Cosmic, supernatural, cool.
I've always felt the perception of who we are is filtered through a lens of fear.
Still to this day, black men are not able to just walk down the street without someone assuming that they don't belong there.
Stereotypes that have been put on black men takes place in the newspaper headlines, it takes place on the television, and I think it's played a major role in the bias against black men. It's an atomic bomb.
It's every day for us. Every single day.
Put your hands out the window!
That's the narrative. I felt threatened. I felt afraid. If they got on handcuffs, they're still a threat because they're a black man.
Black men are not
a threat.
Black men portrayed as dangerous has been inside of the fabric of American culture from the beginning.
Young black boys in America, we don't get a chance to be kids for a long time. There's no room to emote with the exceptions of anger.
Society would have you think that we don't love and really rock with our queens like that, and we do.
Most black fathers are in the home. Well over 50% is a shocker to many people.
We are all living through a very painful time, and we must be able to talk about that.
Okay, so how you feeling about that? Yeah, it's kind of weird for me because I'm hearing something positive for black men.
I was going to say, how do you feel about it?
You know what? It feels weird having them affirmations from a TV screen about a black man. It sounds really. I can't think of any time I've watched a positive word, a phrase after phrase about me as a black man. I don't think I've heard it.
That's deep. Do you feel overwhelmed?
It feels weird.
Really?
It feels. You know when it feels. It's yeah. I kind of I do.
Yeah.
But it's like it's weird hearing it because I say we don't get the props of me, and I say what they said.
Yeah.
But to hear somebody else say it compiled correctly on a YouTube video, you know what I'm saying, and saying black men are this, black men in a positive way. You know what I'm saying? Usually on YouTube, you have the black on black crime when black women are cussing off black men.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you got, everybody's like, oh my gosh, George Floyd and, getting starved and all the negative side. You got, people cussing each other off, on the blackness and this like that, and even like the portrayal of black men are never there for the children. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know what? When they came out with that stat, in terms of over 50% or 51% of black men actually live in the house, I was shocked. Because that's not what's been portrayed.
That's not being portrayed.
That's all.
And before you say, guys, that's just an American, it's nothing to do with us in the UK. It's full on to do the UK. You never see black faces look that way. Talk about black men in a positive manner in the UK. I've never seen it. Never ever seen it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to hear anyone say, yes, you might, that song like gifted and black.
Yeah.
Fact.
But you know what? I think in the US, it's more prominent and obvious when it comes to race. In the UK, it's institutionalized.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you get what I mean? And it's like sort of microaggressions and institutionalized. Yeah. And sometimes it's done so undercover that you can't really call out what it is because it's done so undercover. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But then like little wounds over time, you're like, oh my gosh, like this is hurting. Like what is going on? Whereas in America, it's very much out there. They don't care. And I'm trying to work out. In fact, I think both is as bad as each other because when somebody's doing something slyly and undercover, how can you talk on it?
This is what I'm saying to people. I'd rather a man like Donald Trump in charge because he's got the gun and he's pointing at your face. But it's a guys like what do you call it? Boris Johnson. They go, oh yeah, we love blackness. Yeah. I mean, behind the scene, he's making sure that just make sure they don't get no chance here. You know what I mean? Make sure none of them get in the parliament. You know what I mean? All that talk there. So for me, it's just like, you're this covertly racist. You know what I'm saying? And I just rather the guy straight in the face because it fools a number of black people into being comfortable, overly comfortable. You know what I'm saying? With himself and whatever. But it's just good to see. It's shock. It just sends a chill down my spine, man. Just listening to that, not because I just don't hear it. Just do not hear it. And people say, oh, it's not about white men. It's not about white men don't get that. Don't go. But the thing is, everything about your life, everything you watch on TV affirms your greatness.
Yeah.
Every single thing. You think that you think that. Moses is white. He's not white. He's black. You know what I mean? You think that Christianity's got anything to do with white people? It's got nothing to do with white people. It's an Afro-Asian religion. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you've whitenized. You know what I'm saying? You're called taking my surname, shipping me away from my heritage. You know what I mean? You've done enough. You know what I'm saying? And they can't turn around. Right, we've got to fix this because we made a problem. You never fix this. It's amazing. They make the claim that they're taking that Christians stop slavery, Wilberforce them. But how can a fireman who starts a fire out the fire and get a medal? Christians started the fire.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
A Christian writer, a priest from a church in Oxford, I believe it was. He wrote to Queen Elizabeth the First and said, "Go to the Americas, colonize, and do all this colonizer." He encouraged her to do it and use it as what. And then you out the fire afterwards and go, "Oh, by the way, I saved the cat." Oh, but 20 bodies are inside.
Yeah.
But because I'm out in the fire, I saved 5 people.
Yeah.
Who got no families now. You know, so that's just I don't know if I was going too deep in it.
I mean, deep, but it is what it is. Do you get what I mean? Like, it is what it is. I think right now in this day and age, you have to just speak the truth on certain things and certain matters. I think what's sad about it is my parents' generation was very much taught, be quiet and just get on with it.
Amen. Yeah, man.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? And to be honest, that's probably almost been filtered down to me in a way. But now I'm starting to see people speak up. So it makes me more comfortable to be like, okay, cool, actually, now that's not right. And, you know, their parents were obviously taught, keep your head down, stay quiet, just do what you need to do. And it's crazy because even to the point where, for example, if I'm walking on the street, automatically in my head, if I'm on the side of the road and a white person's walking next to me, I will kind of like move over to the side to let them pass. And it's things like that generationally you've been taught. Do you get what I mean? That you don't even realize you do.
Okay, cool.
And so it's just really nice to obviously see that this program's coming out to talk about the importance of a black man, the importance of like just that being black and feeling empowered to be black, and that you're not made to feel small in any way, shape or form. So it's going to be a really good documentary, and I'm excited to watch it, definitely. But
yeah, Discovery, man, doing it. It looks like they're spending a Black History budget on this, man. You know what I mean? So uncomfortable time for our colleagues over here in the UK. It's called Tough Luck still, anyway. Still, yeah, but.
This kind of comment has come up a lot in my video on Ruby Bridges, and my answer is no, I didn't learn about this in school. I learned about integration to a certain extent, but we really only learned about the Little Rock Nine in Arkansas a few years before Ruby Bridges. I didn't learn about Ruby Bridges in Louisiana. I didn't learn that she's barely retirement age right now today at 67 years old. I didn't learn that as a 6-year-old little girl walked into school that there were grown white women hysterically crying and fainting as a result of their racism, that a 6-year-old little girl was walking into a school. I didn't learn that they threw rocks at a 6-year-old girl and her mother. I didn't learn that 4 federal marshals had to walk a 6-year-old into her elementary school so that the white people wouldn't hurt her. I didn't learn that white people put a little black baby doll inside of a coffin and paraded it around as a 6-year-old little girl tried to go to school. I didn't learn that Ruby Bridges couldn't eat the lunch provided by the school. She had to eat the lunch that her parents provided for her because they were scared that someone was going to try to poison her. I didn't learn about the white adults and the white children outside her school singing "Glory, Glory, Segregation, the South will rise again." I didn't learn that 500 white kids were pulled out of that school because Ruby Bridges went there. I didn't learn about how grown white adults yelled slurs and threats at a 6-year-old little girl. I didn't learn that the black children had to apply to go to the white schools that the white kids could just get to go to. I didn't learn that out of the 137 black first graders that applied to go to integrated schools, only 5 of them were accepted, and Ruby was the only one accepted to go to the elementary school that she went to. I didn't learn that in retaliation for Ruby going to an integrated school, her grandparents were evicted from their farm. I didn't learn that when Ruby Bridges was in the 1st grade, there was only one teacher at that school who was willing to teach her, Barbara Henry. And I didn't learn that for that entire school year, in the 1st grade, Ruby Bridges was alone. No other kids in that class. In class, alone. Ate lunch, alone. On the playground, alone. All year. Every day. Didn't miss a day. So no, I did not learn about Ruby Bridges in school. And I doubt that many of us really learned about Ruby Bridges in school. And if some people have their way, Black history will get even more and more diluted in public education.
Okay.
Did you know about Ruby Bridges?
I've heard the name before. And I heard about the whole scenario of being the segregation of white vessel in the schools. But I never heard it like that.
Yeah.
Did you know about her?
Yeah, I knew about her.
Cool.
But I didn't know all of that information. So I knew that she was the only black girl in school. I knew the whole like black baby in a coffin thing. Do you get what I mean? All that stuff. But I didn't know that only one teacher wanted to teach her. And she was the only kid in the class for a whole year. Like, I think it just goes into so much detail about her experience that I didn't know.
And that's only a 2-minute video.
Yeah.
And this is the thing is, you know what I mean? Just being taught correctly, you know what I'm saying, is okay when unfortunately when we've been taught by the system or the white people in the system or even black people in the system, they'll take out majority of that and just say, oh, because the segregation is the first child and it was a bit rough at first, but then things barriers broke and things change in the next 5 to 10 years. Loads of kids but they don't look at that first year. Sorry, that was unacceptable, and she's still alive today. She's the age of my parents.
Wow. Yeah, she's the age of mine as well.
Yeah.
She comes to think about it.
So it's just like, you really think about things, guys. It's like, you got to ask yourself the question is like, why do people always say forget about racism when it's not really hundreds of years ago? That's out of order. Yeah. That's in someone's life. That's like 60 years ago.
I think also learning about this is important, but then also learning about things such as, I don't know if you've seen it, but Alison Hammond, she sat down with a historian the other day and he asked the question. He was like, oh, who was the greatest Roman emperor? And she was like, oh, was it Julius Caesar? And he was like, no, it was actually a black man.
Yes.
And he walked through the history, everything, showed her images. She was shocked. I was shocked. And it's things like that that we just don't know about. Do you get what I mean? Like in history, all I was taught was that, probably my ancestors were slaves. That's it.
That's it, man.
That's all I was taught.
And this is the narrative that we need to
I could have descended from it. Do you get what I mean? I could have descended from this and that, but I don't know that. No one is willing to teach me that. I have to go and do the research myself or wait until that information comes to me. And even when it comes down to, the women who create like hair straighteners and products and things like that have been black women over the years that have just been literally cascaded to the side, and other people have been given the glory. Wow.
And yeah, it's like I always say, Florence Nightingale, she was the fake Seacole. They needed to use her. It says, oh my gosh, Seacole, everyone's talking about Seacole, but we need to push the Nightingale version of it, because Nightingale was I don't know if you know about Seacole.
I do, of course.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
I went to Brunel University, so we had like Seacole and like Madam C.J. Walker and stuff like that.
Okay, cool.
Some of our names.
You never had that Coventry uni. But you see, so basically they had Florence Nightingale. So when I grew up, the £1 note was Florence Nightingale. Yeah. So they did their best to cover up the truth of that. Basically, the soldiers loved Seacole. That was not in it, because they fought the front lines, helping the soldiers. Well, my girl Florence is like another 300 miles away from the front line. Yeah, having it nice. You know what I mean? But they would have said that, oh, she's the savior. They always have to get the white savior in there. You know what I'm saying? It's just not fair, guys. And it's just, are you afraid of the truth? The truth that we have a part to play in this. You know what I'm saying? She came from the West Indies, you know. You know what I'm saying? Over to cold Russia. Yeah. Take care of soldiers over there. Yeah. She good, man. Yeah. Left him to dead, man. You know what I'm saying? I said, I'm hungry, go to Florence, man. Go to Florence. But it's just sad, you know what I mean? And I think it's knowing the history, it changes how we think about ourselves, how we feel about ourselves, where it's like, it's almost a case of we have to apologize for our existence. We're tolerated. That's why our parents felt like they're tolerated, because they did not know who they are, who they were, what we've achieved and what we've brought to this world. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's why they say you've got to be thankful to the Europeans, because they have blessed us. That's unfortunately how they feel.
Do you know what I was going to say?
Their country.
I'm forgetting as well, black soldiers who used to fight in the war that I never knew about until I was probably early 20s. Exactly. So when it used to, Remembrance Day and stuff like that, I couldn't I couldn't necessarily relate. So I was like, okay, cool. Like all these soldiers did this and stuff like that. But I'd never see a black face. I was just like, oh, okay. It was obviously just like white soldiers. It wasn't until I was probably about in my 20s when people were like, black soldiers started to say, I fought in the war, and I was never ever, you know, commended or recognized. And then more other blacks, and then, you know, their families started coming forward and stuff like that. And I was just, it was a culture shock for me because I'd never seen it. And in my 20s, I'm only learning about this, but in school, they never taught me that actually black men fought in the war. So how deep that front line.
And you got Indians as well. Indians I would be cheesed if I was Indian, because like they were World War II, I think World War I, they provided about almost over 1 million soldiers, something like that, 1.5 million soldiers. Yeah. But out of all the World War I films, I've only seen what 1 or 2 Asian soldiers. You know what I mean? Indian soldiers.
But that's why this whole Windrush scandal, honestly, like, it irks me so much, because I think to myself, no, you're not going to do us like that. Do you get what I mean? Like, you invited us to come to rebuild the United Kingdom, and a lot of, like, you know, like our great grandparents trained as nurses, as teachers, as to come over to help build the UK, and then you're going to try and send them all back
because of technicalities
under the cover because of
it's disrespectful. And on top of that,
it's literally like we built the UK on our backs.
No, we built the UK on slavery, and then on top of that, we came over here and rebuilt it after World War II. And you know, and you owe us. I don't care. You know what I mean? I'm not look. I never forget a white English history teacher told my friends to back off because they're kind of a bit more. I wouldn't say they're racist, but they was going a bit funny with me. And he goes, listen, we got to thank the black and Asian people in this room. And I was the only black guy, but there's about 2 Asian people in the room. He said, we got to thank them, because without them, we would never won World War I. Never won World War II. You know what I'm saying? But the reality show is they went to our countries, colonized, took what they stole, the jewels. You know what I mean? It's funny because with the madness with the England Lions and stuff. Oh, England Lions, that's how 3 Lions, how them 3 black boys are. Oh, and England got Lions and everything, but Lions are from Africa. You see, so England just say 3 foxes. You know what I mean? That's what you are. You know, sly foxes. That suits him more. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But you know, that's where I feel. So it's great to hear things like this. So that's what I like about TikTok. It kind of breaks. You know what I mean? It helps people do the little research. It's just sad that a child had to go through that.
Yeah.
It's just sad. Just sad. It's absolutely sad, man. You know what I mean? Sorry, guys, if I felt like a bad note to end on. What you know I'm saying? But you know, I know AXNow, but I just think that black history is important.
Black history is so important. I think the one thing that scares me though is the fact that I just don't want it to be diluted. And what I don't want to happen is, as we get older, we talk about black history, but we talk about modern black history.
Yeah.
No. There's so many things that's been left behind that we still don't know about, which is so important. And as our grandparents and stuff get older and pass away, it's like we need them to start speaking their truth and telling us the stories and stuff like that so we can pass it on to the next generation. And I think it's just so important not to just modernize black history and say, oh yeah, you know what, like the first black woman that did this in 2012, okay, cool, that's still very modernized. Let's take it way back to centuries where there's so many things that black people have achieved that we just have not been told about, and nobody wants to allow us to or give us that knowledge. Like, we need to start speaking up, doing the research ourselves, asking people. And I think I encourage everybody, and this is my main thing for everybody today, is find something new about black history that you never knew about before and share it with a friend. That's good.
On that note, guys, go and study your history. Fantastic. I know that's a bit of a tough AXNow to do today. It's not the Edge show, guys. Don't worry, man. It take time, but no, it's just real talk. And I think these are beautiful videos to really go off. You know what I mean? And it's very inspiring with the black men one. And I think, you know, I need to just love each other a lot more, love ourselves a lot more, and we need truths putting out there all the time, man. Nothing but blessings, people, man.
Thank you for watching the content we're putting out. Listen, make sure that you are liking, subscribing and following us on all our social channels, including patreon.com. Make sure you're finding us on there to support what we do so we can support you. And remember, guys, be extra.